In the beginning, there was a garden, a paradise so perfect it shimmered with life. This was Eden, a place where everything was brand new, and the air buzzed with the hum of creation. In the heart of this magnificent garden walked the first man, Adam. Imagine being the first person to see a sunrise, to feel the cool breeze, to hear a bird sing. For Adam, every day was a day of discovery. God had given him a special job to name all the animals. So, he'd sit by the river, and as creatures came up to him, he'd think, "You, with the long neck, you're a giraffe, and you, with the mighty roar, you shall be a lion." From the tiny ant to the giant elephant, Adam gave each one a name, and in doing so, he got to know the incredible world around him. But even in this perfect place, surrounded by every kind of animal, Adam felt a little lonely. He saw the birds flying in pairs, the lions resting with their pride, and he realized he was the only one of his kind. God saw this too. He knew it wasn't good for Adam to be alone. So, one day, while Adam was in a deep sleep, God performed a miracle. He took one of Adam's ribs, and from it, he created a companion, a partner, just for him. When Adam woke up and saw her, his heart must have leaped with joy. He looked at her and said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." He named her Eve, which means mother of all living, because he knew she was the beginning of something new, the beginning of humanity. Together, Adam and Eve were a perfect team. They explored the Garden of Eden, hand in hand, marveling at its wonders. They tasted sweet fruits from the trees, swam in the crystal clear rivers, and laughed with the playful animals. They had everything they could ever want, and their only rule was a simple one. God told them, "You can eat from any tree in the garden, but there is one tree you must not touch, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The day you eat from it, you will surely understand things in a way you never have before." For a while, this was easy. With so many delicious fruits to choose from, why would they ever want the one they couldn't have? Their life was simple, pure, and filled with happiness. But Eden held a secret. It wasn't just home to Adam, Eve, and the animals. There was another creature, a serpent, known for its cunning and clever words. One day, the serpent found Eve near the forbidden tree. It slithered up to her and asked a sly question. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve, honest and direct, corrected the serpent. "No," she said. "We can eat from all the trees, just not this one. God said if we eat its fruit, we will face a great change." The serpent just chuckled. "Oh, you won't change in a bad way," it hissed, its voice like a whisper. "God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened. You'll be like him, knowing good and evil." The serpent's words planted a seed of doubt in Eve's mind. She looked at the tree again. The fruit looked so delicious, perfectly ripe and tempting. She thought about what the serpent said, knowing good and evil, being like God. The idea was powerful. It wasn't about disobeying. It was about curiosity, about wanting to understand more. Slowly, she reached out her hand, plucked the fruit from the branch, and took a bite. The taste was new, unlike anything she had ever experienced. Excited by this new sensation, she found Adam and offered him the fruit. Adam, seeing Eve eat it and seem fine, trusted her. He took a bite, too. In that instant, everything changed. It wasn't a clap of thunder or a flash of lightning. It was a change inside them. Suddenly, they looked at each other and felt shy. For the first time, they noticed they were naked, and they felt a strange new feeling. Shame. They quickly gathered some fig leaves and stitched them together to make clothes. Their innocence was gone. The simple, joyful connection they had with the world was now complicated by these new feelings of fear and self-consciousness. The world hadn't changed, but their way of seeing it had. They were no longer just living in the garden. They were aware of themselves in a way they never had been before. Later that day, in the cool of the evening, they heard a familiar sound. God walking in the garden. Before, they would have run to greet him, eager to share their day's adventures. But this time, fear gripped them. They hid among the trees, hoping not to be seen. But you can't hide from God, he called out. Adam, where are you? His voice wasn't angry, just searching. From his hiding spot, Adam replied, his voice trembling. I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. God asked a gentle but knowing question. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from? The moment of truth had arrived. Adam, feeling the weight of his actions, immediately pointed to Eve. The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it. Then God turned to Eve and asked, what is this you have done? Eve, in turn, blamed the serpent. The serpent deceived me, and I ate, she said. It was a sad chain of blame. No one wanted to take responsibility. God listened to them all, his heart heavy. The harmony of Eden was broken. There were consequences for their choice. He told the serpent it would crawl on its belly forever. He told Eve that she would experience pain in childbirth, but also the deep love of family. And he told Adam that the ground would no longer easily give him food. He would have to work hard, tilling the soil and sweating for his bread. The most painful consequence was yet to come. God said that Adam and Eve could no longer stay in the Garden of Eden. If they stayed, they might also eat from the tree of life and live forever in their new, complicated state. So, with great sadness, God made them garments of skin to wear, a more permanent covering than the fig leaves. Then, he led them to the gate of the garden. An angel with a flaming sword was placed there to guard the way back to the tree of life. As Adam and Eve stepped out of paradise and into the wider world, they looked back one last time at the home they had lost. The gate closed behind them, and their life in Eden was over. But this wasn't the end of their story. It was a new beginning. Life outside the garden was hard. The sun was hotter. The ground was tougher. And they had to learn to fend for themselves. But they had each other. They learned to build a home, to plant seeds, to raise a family. They had children, Cain and Abel, and humanity began to spread across the earth. They carried with them the memory of Eden, a bittersweet reminder of what they had lost, but also the hope for the future. Their choice had brought knowledge of both good and evil, of both sorrow and joy, pain and love. They were no longer innocent children in the garden, but the first parents of a world that would be filled with struggle, but also with incredible strength, creativity, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Their story is our story, the story of making choices, learning from our mistakes, and finding our way in a beautiful but complicated world. Thanks for watching our journey through this ancient story. If you enjoyed this animation, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure into history and legend. See you next time!